have 4 squirrel traps here I would like to review, and I will provide some information on the pros and cons of each. And I will start from the largest traps to the smallest. So here is a squirrelinator, and it has 2 doors for squirrel to enter. These are one-way doors, and another door on the other side. And in the middle is where you release the squirrel. Okay, so this is a quite large trap, and I saw several videos online that show that it caught multiple squirrels in one try. But I was never able to catch multiples. I only caught one. I only caught individual ones a couple times. And one of the problem is because the trap is very large, it requires lots of food. I have to put a lot of nuts inside and around, and that made cleaning difficult. So what I did is I put a clear plastic glass under the trap, and so all the nuts would be falling on the plastic glass. So when I remove the nuts, I can just take the plastic glass all at once. I don't want to leave any of these nuts overnight because you will attract mice, other rodents, rats, and other animals. This is not what I want to do. Another issue is this trap. You can transport a squirrel, trapped squirrel with this trap. However, I don't want to transport it in my car or move those problematic squirrel to another neighborhood. So I have to drown them in this bucket. So the bucket I bought this bucket that comes with the trap, and it requires quite a large amount of water. It's more work for me, so I want to do as little work as possible. So that's the problem is require work to clean and to drown the squirrel. This next trap is this have a heart trap. This trap is also easy to set, just like the squirrelinator. You don't have to do much anything. And then this is the door, the gate, and then this part is the tray that they put the nuts on. The issue with this trap is that it can trap other animals. So I have chipmunks that way in there. I also had one time a bird way in there. And another issue is how I can kill the squirrel with the trap in there. Because this hover trap is pretty tall. So the standard like Home Depot bucket is too shallow to drown the squirrel, and therefore unless you put the trap in a trash can and fill with water, but that also requires a lot of work to me. So then next one is this tube trap. The tube trap works well during the first year. So the mechanism has a very strong spring mechanism. So you pull this down, and then this two hook catch this bar. Because the mechanism is so strong, I cannot do it myself. So I have to have my partner to set the trap for me every time. And then there's this food tray in the middle. However, one of the issue is that it doesn't kill. It's supposed to kill the squirrel once the mechanism released is triggered. However, it does not kill. Probably 50% of the time, it does not kill the animal. Whether the animal is killed or not, the squirrel will leave the urine inside the trap. So either way, you have to clean it. And it's this tube trap can be put on many different surfaces that is not flat, like on a tree, on a fence, hanging vertically. But it stopped working after a year. I don't know why. It just the squirrel just totally not interested. Okay, and then back to this trap, PAJ trap. This trap also has a spring mechanism. So there's this spring here and this pull back, and then this hook that catches the bar. And then in the front, this is the entrance. This is the entrance to the trap. So when squirrel go in, they usually put their head in first, and so they touch these two spring. This two, not spring, the metal. Once they get pushed back a little bit by the squirrel, then it triggers this spring mechanism, and it kills the squirrel very quickly. And only the head of the squirrel get touched get into the trap. Therefore, there's no cleaning at all, and because all the body of the squirrel is outside the trap, and it doesn't require much food either. So the food goes in there, all contained in there. And I usually put a peanut butter on a piece of paper and then put it back in there, so I don't have to do any cleaning afterwards. And so I find this trap works best. And it's the smallest, although it's hard to set, but it kills the squirrel almost 100% of the time, and it works really, really well. A couple of things I learned over the past couple of years that I trapped squirrels. One thing is that I find it's very hard to trap a squirrel in summer and fall. I think it's probably because there are abundant amount of food in nature at that time, and probably much more tasty than the food I put in the trap, for example, peanut butter or nuts. So during that time, summer and fall, I almost had no luck trapping squirrel with any of these traps. Once the weather gets cold, for example, late October to spring, April, and I had a great success rate with the PAJ squirrel trap. And once I put the trap out, and a couple hours later, I was able to catch a squirrel, pretty much every day. Another thing is I find that the young squirrel is hard to be trapped with these traps. For some reason, it seems that they are not interested in peanut butter or the nuts I put in the trap. And I do see them eating stuff that a normal squirrel, an adult squirrel won't. Or, for example, they were eating flower petals or flower in my hibiscus tree. So that was surprising to me. A final thing is that I would highly suggest that once the squirrel is trapped, remove the squirrel from the trap immediately. Some of the squirrel trapped in those metal traps, especially the squirrelator and the hammerhead trap, once they're in the trap, they make a lot of noises because there are multiple parts of metals they're hitting each other, and it's pretty noisy. And I think some squirrel might be smart smart enough to learn from what they see, they might avoid these traps after what they saw what happened. Thank you for watching.